Voice Office is committed to serving the community with our agents of ICE that are out there working with each one of these families, and I'm proud to be able to be part of this team that is revamping this as we can continue down the direction from Secretary Noem and President Trump to not only be able to work on interior enforcement every day, but we're removing these violent gang criminals from our country in order to protect the families that are standing behind me, but also the ones that aren't. And every day, I believe that we work to make sure that the government of the United States is as good as the people that we serve, and that's reflected by those behind me. So I want to thank President Trump, Secretary Noem, and Todd Lyons for the work that we've done to be able to put together the Voice Office and revamp it to what it should be and should have always been for the victims and their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison. And I know we are running a little bit behind, but we will take just a few questions from the press. Please make sure your questions pertain to the topic at hand, which is the Voice Office and the stories of these very courageous families. We'll start out with CNN. Priscilla.
Hi, Priscilla with CNN. This is a question for the Secretary. You mentioned that in addition to opening up this hotline, you and your team are committing to doubling down on those with criminal records. Related to that, you got a decision this week by the Supreme Court allowing you to use the Alien Enemies Act. Have you commenced deportations already under this measure?
You know, we're working with the White House, and we're not going to talk about specific operations to protect law enforcement officers. I think you're probably well aware that we've seen a dramatic increase of attacks and violence perpetuated against law enforcement under this administration because of the work that they're doing against cartels and terrorist organizations. So we're going to keep operations secure, but we will use the Alien Enemies Act. We will continue to use it to deport people. One of the reasons I went to El Salvador last week was to visit with the president and ask him to continue to take terrorists from the United States of America that don't belong here. And he has committed to continuing to work with us to make sure that we have more TDA members, more MS-13 members that we're able to incarcerate here in this country deported and in CCOT and pay the consequences for their actions of violence.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you. I think I see Ted Hassan, Reuters.
Thank you. This is a question for Secretary Noem as well. Regarding the Venezuelan alleged members of Tren de Aragua who were deported to El Salvador, is there a reason the administration can't release their records or their criminal records if they are indeed dangerous criminals or gang members?
You know, these are all individual cases that we won't get into specifics on, but we have incredible intelligence capabilities at the Department of Homeland Security and casework that has been done not just by ICE individuals, but by other departments and the Department of State, that we're confident that people that are there should be there and they should stay there for the rest of their lives.
Thank you. I think we have time for just one more question. I see CBS. Nicole.
Hi, thank you so much. A question for Secretary Noem. We've heard all about ICE investigations that have brought justice to these families. Earlier this week, it became clear that ICE will begin sharing information and requesting information from the IRS to aid in its criminal investigations. I'd like to know, when will that sharing begin? Given this information is usually guarded, what information will ICE now have access to? And how will that be used to aid ICE in arresting individuals here illegally?
Yes, so this is an unprecedented announcement that in partnership and agreement that has been made between ICE and the department in order to make sure that we're using every tool that we have to go after criminals. I think the American people need to be confident in the fact that their personal privacy will be protected and that this will be a targeted agreement that will go specifically after individuals who do perpetuate violence and enact crimes in this country. We'll continue to talk about the specifics of the agreement, but right now that needs to be unveiled in a way that is transparent to the public and in full, and so we'll be giving that to you.
Well, thank you all. That's all we have time for questions. Please follow up with the Public Affairs Officer for any follow-ups. Thank you to Secretary Noem. Thank you to Acting Director Todd Lyons. Thank you, Deputy Director Madison Sheehan. And thank you to these courageous families for sharing their stories. We are so honored.